Okay. Welcome to the demo of the sprint plan of the third sprint of our project, which is OCL for OpenMRS. My name is Christopher, and I'm the current team lead of this sprint that will be stopping today. And I will demo what my team was able to achieve. Okay. I'll share my screen shortly. Okay, so the main goals of this sprint was basically to add an implementation dictionary and also retrieving them, and also the other goal was to allow users to add concepts to their dictionaries. So due to a various number of circumstances, we weren't able to move on to the second main goal, which was to add concepts to a dictionary. But then we're able to implement the first one, which is creating an implementation dictionary. So I'll sign in. And then right here is where a user can come in and sign and add a dictionary. So basically all the fields here are all required except the description. So the preferred source can either be CIEL. You can either choose CIEL as your preferred source, or you can choose others as the preferred source. So in this instance, I'll choose CIEL. Then preferred language. So for now, you can choose either English or Spanish. I will go with English. Then visibility, you can either make it private. This means that it's only you that will see it. And if you make it public, everyone else can always look at your dictionary. So I'll prefer to make this a private dictionary since it's a test. So then dictionary name, we shall choose something like new. So the owner can either be an individual or the organizations you belong to. So currently, the signed-in user belongs to an organization called Chris Main. But then for the first test, I'll create it for the individual. And then a short code. Then we shall have a description. So then you click on the add dictionary, which later on notifies you that the dictionary was successfully added. Yeah, and then we shall go to the dictionaries and look have it displayed. So currently what is happening, this is a bug that appears just because the loader kind of got an issue, and that will be fixed. So we can see at the bottom that our dictionary actually did appear.
Is that bug ticketed?
Pardon?
Does it have a ticket, that bag?
No, it was just revealed, so we're going to create a ticket for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can see at the bottom that the new dictionary was added, which is here, and it was created by me. Yes, and under me, the individual. Then I also create one under an organization. So let me choose others. Then language English, visibility private. Dictionary name. Could probably go with organization. So we shall put in an organization called Chris May, and then have a short name. So yes, we can see that. So these are the two dictionaries we have added. There is the new OpenMRS dictionary, which belongs to an individual, and then you can see that here. So the individual is Chris Kala, and he's a user, the current logged in user. And then the second dictionary, which belongs to an organization, which for this instance, the organization is Chris May, and you can clearly see that the owner type is organization. Yeah. So that was basically what we were able to come up with for the part of the dictionaries. Moving forward, we shall have a user clicking on a particular dictionary, and then they'll be taken to an interface where they can get to see all the details about a particular dictionary. And so the second thing, since our second task was to allow users add concepts to dictionaries, what we did, we worked simultaneously with people who are working with sources. So basically, the whole use of sources is to help us access concepts. So, for example, if we had CIEL, okay, fine. So, for example, if I take or currently, since we're working with the QA, it will not show us the CIL sources because they're not actually on the QA. So, taking an example of, let me say, data types. So, data types has store of concepts. So, when we click on the concepts, it will take us and it will display all the concepts. So, after allowing the user to display all concepts, we shall have moving forward, we shall have a button to allow users to add concepts to the dictionaries that they will have created in the future, which will be the dictionaries which are here. So that was, yeah. And then so yeah, that was what happened. And then I'm going to share the Jira board shortly. Okay. So we shall start with the tasks that were done. So a user should retrieve and search through all concepts in a specific source. I clearly showed you how that was done, but how that was implemented. Then we have a user. As a user, I want to be able to view all sources via pagination. So that too was shown where we have where we implemented the endless search. For example, if it keeps on, it shows that you're loading, and then it. So that was the kind of pagination we opted to use. Then implement UI and logic for retrieving all concepts and search for specific concepts. That was also done. Then as a user, I should be able to search and see all sources. That was completed, and that's what is shown here. Then so this ticket was basically to as a user, one should be able to retrieve all the created dictionaries via the user interface. So that is what was actually done here. Then there was a fix. Then for the fixes that were done, there was a fix done to the login page. Then there was a redesign for the source page, for the page that renders the sources. And then there was a fix done for the authentication. This was to prevent a user from accessing the login page when they're actually logged in already. Then there was a fix done to the current production, to the current application, so that we use the QA version of the Open Concept Lab. And then there was a fix for the notification displays. So I'm quite sure that before you could not see the displays, but then at the moment they already show up. So, and below, as you can see, was the change we implemented. Then a user should be able to create a new implementation dictionary via the user interface. So that too was also implemented. So yes, that's all. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so in summary, how many tickets did we do?
Pardon?
In summary, how many tickets did we complete for the sprint?
I haven't gone through all of them, but to be precise, there were three major tickets that were implemented gearing towards the main goal, the MVP, and then the others were mainly fixes, just to improving the product.
Okay, is there any way we can improve on that?
Improve on
the number of tickets, main tickets?
So basically what was happening, the main problem that we were facing was the tickets that were coming up were depending, so like what they had this thing of depending on the other. So like I could not, in case one person is doing creation of dictionaries, so that person, I mean, in case someone is doing retrieving of dictionaries, creating dictionaries is finished. So that was the whole issue that was blocking us. Yeah.
So you worked serially instead of in parallel?
Trying to work in parallel, well, I don't think that would have easily worked for what was actually happening, because Currently, we had no dictionaries at all, and there was no dummy data to play with.
Okay. So what I want to recommend is that next time you're in such a situation,
Yes.
instead of sitting down and do nothing, that's one of my roles. So in other words, whenever you're in a state where you're blocked in the sense that you can't do anything,
Yeah.
that's where I come in. So you should say that out so that I can help to figure out how to make sure that each and every one of you is actually not blocked on anything.
Okay. But then what we came up with was, as a team, was in case there is such a task that would block all the rest of the team members. So we created a ticket for fixtures that would allow where the team members would identify fixes and bugs and possible bugs, and then we could create tickets, and then those would keep them occupied until the person who's working on a priority task is done, and then they can move forward until the next person can move forward.
Yeah, I'm saying this because I monitored it for quite some time when not everyone had a ticket. So that's why I'm speaking like this.
Okay, thank you. That has been noted.
Sure. Otherwise, thanks for the good work you've done so far. And we look forward to, do you still have any queries for Darius? He's still on vacation, and I think he has one more week to go, but hopefully he's not a blocker in any way, is he?
No, he's not a blocker.
Good. There's also a summary. I don't know if your team also did that. Before this call, we usually have a post on Talk, which gives a summary of the progress, because some people may not have the time to go through this video and see what was done. So for such, a summary on Talk that has screenshots and a description of what has been accomplished during the sprint would be very helpful.
Oh, thank you very much. That has been noted.
Yeah, it's usually the other groups would do it before this call. But since you've not done it before this call, it shouldn't stop you from doing it after this call. So as you share the recording, it will also be great to accompany it with a summary and screenshots of what was done, so that somebody can just briefly look at what's new, and without having to go through a recording as long as this.
Yeah. That really makes sense.
Thanks. And of course, that shouldn't stop you from coming up with any other creativity sort of ideas or whatever. So do not feel like that's all you have to do. In case you think of something better in terms of what we should do and to improve and increase our visibility to the community in terms of progress. So feel free to share that out so that we keep on improving.
Okay.
Yep, sure. Thanks. Otherwise, thanks for the work you've been doing, and keep doing it. Yeah, those are my comments.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have comments? Well, okay. So can I call this a call? Is everybody satisfied with what they saw? Do they have any inquiries? Do they have any suggestions? Okay, so I guess I should take that as a no. Cool. Thank you very much for attending the demo, and yep, we shall move forward as a team and ensure that we can showcase better achievements and quality work. Thank you.
What we usually do is to, once the demo is done, you can always announce that those who would love to go can actually leave. But there's a part that you've left out. So it's important because there are people who may not have the time for the full hour, but they just want to see what's been done, and that's all. They're not interested in any other stuff. But there's some other stuff that's not done. So I would say that just announce that the demo is over, so that those who would want to go can do so. But there is another part that I think your colleagues can remind you that you've not done.
Oh yes. So I guess if anyone of you feels like dropping off, you can. Yeah, you're free to drop off.
Of course, as you tell them to drop off, you also, of course, announce what's going to happen next for the rest of the call, just in case somebody else may say, like, okay, I came for the demo, but I want to know also what's going on next, just in case I may have interest.
So, okay, what will be going on next will be the retrospective of how the sprint has gone, basically getting to know from each of the team members what they loved about the sprint, what they think would change, and their suggestions on how we can implement the changes.
Just a bit. This is Joseph voice. I'm requesting you guys when you. By the way, thanks a lot. I like that. It's slightly late, but I like it, and I would want to play around with what you've been up to. So maybe as you're posting an update on Talk, you can share the details of an access account for me to check out the instance.
Mike, pardon, could you repeat yourself?
So in other words, in your update post on Talk, you include username, and I think I saw something like access token. Yes. I don't know whether you have anything that you can provide for access for people like me. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so okay, cool. Yes, I will. So actually,
cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so can I stop the broadcast? Okay.
Yeah, I think you don't have to, just in case people who watch the recording, in case there's some who also would be interested in listening in terms of the retro and those comments. So as long as you've ensured that you've explicitly said that the demo is done. So if somebody's just watching the recording and was just for the demo, they can always stop it, but keep recording up to the end.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, guys, I guess we shall go into the retrospectives now. And I would like to hear from you what has gone well in this sprint, what you think we could improve on as a team, and how we could improve on what you've said. So yes, what went well, what didn't go well, and what can be improved. So I guess Waweru, you can start. You can kickstart this conversation.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chris. For me, I think what went well was that we were able to complete the two major tasks. That was the creation of the dictionary, which will be holding the concepts. What did not go well on my side, I think it's the point whereby we not. I don't want to say we ran out of tasks, but we were unable to complete. Like there were blocking tasks. Maybe if we found a way to improve on that, it will be awesome.
Okay, so what would be your suggestion on how we could improve that? What do you think would help?
I think the first thing is figuring out that is the structure of the task. And before we allocate tasks, we see which tasks are likely to block each other. And from then we can be able to figure out an approach on which you can be able to correctly give out tasks for different individuals to ensure that at any particular time everyone is doing some task.
Okay, that has been noted. Thank you very much. You can nominate someone else to go next.
Hadija?
Mic check. Thanks, Chris, for the demo. So, what went well is that we achieved most of our goals and we did 12 tickets, which was awesome. They were able to be merged. Another thing, personally, I increased on my knowledge for like the software skills, that's for JavaScript, and also learning more about the product thanks to Aweru. So what didn't go well is that team dynamics wasn't all that good to me. Somewhere there was lack of respect for each other.
The what? Pardon?
There was lack of respect for each other.
Could you repeat
And
your whole sentence from the start?
so my whole point is that team dynamics wasn't the best for me. Others might see it some like not like me, but to me, yeah. So there's some respect that is still lacking from each team member to another, and if that is worked upon, then it could be good. Like the teamwork would be so good. Another thing is that there was imbalancing of tasks. Yeah, like some people worked on like 5 tasks, and you find someone is working on like 1 task. So I think the next sprint lead should ensure that that doesn't happen, because it raises an issue when it comes to our TTLs and our learning managers. They think that maybe other people are not actually working. So we should try and divide tasks, because all of us have outputs that at the end they need us to achieve some things. So
To
I think
kind
that's
of
all.
clarify on what I think about what you just said is you know, everybody had a task at the start, right?
Yes.
But then what happened? Some people actually did finish their tasks on time, right?
Mm.
And they actually requested for more for more tasks, which were basically the fixes, right? It's not that I'm saying that I was taking away the privilege of people picking tasks, because I know what you're talking about. I also faced the same problem in the previous sprint, and I thought the solution to that would have been to have people take up main tasks and then also have sub tasks, sub tasks, like for example fixes.
Yeah.
But then
So one way we can do that, because you find some tasks are maybe huge, or they are being blocked by some tasks, and it's not anyone's fault. So what a sprint lead could do, not you, any other person who is a sprint lead, is like creating fixes or telling like the person to leave the task they have been doing, because it doesn't make sense someone staying on a task for so long, instead of them at least doing a fix, and like they get familiar, they don't stay behind and wait for the other. So this is generate all of us.
so what you're trying to say, probably to a person who's being delayed by another, so the people who are being delayed can always pick up fixes, right?
Yes. So if it means you stopping, even if you've been working on that task, and you stop and first go back to master and work on another task, that could be better, because you find someone spends like 2 weeks on one task and the TTL cannot understand that. As we can understand, but the TTL cannot.
What I think, this would always come out of communication, and also I find loopholes. Now, for example, imagine if the task you're working on is a priority task, yeah, and it's, let me say, it's really big for you, or it's quite challenging. I won't say big; it's quite challenging. So, would you expect such a person to leave it alone and then go and
No. So if it is a challenge for you, that's when you team up. Like
yes?
people can do pair programming. So I think that the next sprint leaders should always encourage that. The moment, maybe we should put, actually estimations are so important, and I see we are not doing that. So if we do estimations, they will help us. If you ask someone, like I estimate a task for 3 days, and I go past 3 days, then maybe you can say, you know what, pair up with this person and finish that. That can also happen. It can help.
Because
Yeah, yeah, DJ, I just wanted to say that that's a very wonderful and awesome point.
Because
Estimating.
about estimating, I think I tried like a little bit where I would ask you guys, so you guys, you have this task for this week, so I mean you have this task, so when should I expect results? When should I expect a pull request? And then I think I remember from one of the conversations with Shakira, she was like, within 2 days. And then something came up, and then I tried to pair up with someone.
Did you know that Jira has an option for putting the time you expect? Could be
Yeah.
hours, could
Yeah.
be days. Can you take
Yeah.
advantage of that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, so we should always put them, like even on the Jira board, like you put maybe the original estimate. When you're ending, you can put the days. So that can even help us evaluate, like how long did I take? Yeah. So
That is another awesome point.
yes.
Excellent.
Okay, cool. So thank you very much for that.
I think that's it from me. I nominate Shakira.
Yeah, before Shakira comes in,
Yes.
is it that these tasks, those huge tasks, cannot just be split into smaller tasks? Is it something about them that they're like piece of hair on the head that you cannot just split it into two? Or what's about them?
Okay. Some of them, I can give an example like Waweru's task. Okay, they are not big, but they are features. Like he was adding dictionaries, implementing the addition of dictionaries. So that's why we call them, like, it's big because it's a feature and it's hard to divide. The only thing I feel we could do is pair programming, though the Jira board cannot allow you to assign to people. But I think if we tell Daniel that 2 people are pair programming on this because it's a big feature, I think that he can understand.
Can I just shed some
I would
light?
definitely understand pairing, and when merging, I would definitely include the names that actually worked on it, so that if somebody just wants to know who actually did this, at least they can find a comment on Jira that specifies that Hadija and Shakira worked on this.
Okay.
Pairing is fine.
Oh, just to add on that, while the tasks may not be that big as they appear, most of the things that are done in the new platform are basically we are consuming the API, but we have to modify that in the front end to work with the new OCL OMRS, such that if the API was only supposed to create collections, then we find a way to create both collections and censuses at the same time. So it's more or less like logical, working on the front end and only consuming the back end. That makes them a bit difficult to kind of break the tasks down.
So I think Shakira can go next.
Mic check.
Check.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending the demo call and Christopher for presenting. So what went well in the sprint? Yeah, kind of contrary to what Hadija said about the team dynamics. This week, I reached out to a number of, I think, Emma and also Hadija and Christopher. So even Waweru, like I felt we worked as a team. There was a time when we were losing the track on what actually we were supposed to do on the task. And Waweru came up with a document, shared it with us, put us back into direction. So I thought that's very good teamwork. As on my task, I was kind of struggling and not like some basics. I wasn't like getting them so well. So I paired up with Emma and he helped me out. For Christopher, I was asking for feedback and he also helped me out, as well as Hadija. Like, I don't know whether it was just like on my side, but I felt like this sprint, I found that we worked well as a team. Maybe it was me getting the teamwork, but I felt it was a tick for me. And yeah, for accomplishing tasks, that was a good thing. Like at least for the most part, we did what we were supposed to do on the MVP. But hoping that in the next sprint we would do better, like to at least accomplish on the most part and finish the MVP before our apprenticeship ends. So looking out for that. Then yeah, what went well? What didn't go so well was as highlighted earlier, like there was a point when tasks weren't being like there was a time when a number of us finished tasks and there was no other task to do on the board until fixes were made, and then we got tasks. So yeah, that didn't go so well. So as the suggestions have been, I think for the next sprints we shall look into that. So yeah, and what else? What could be improved?
Yes, what needs to be improved?
Yeah, what needs to be improved, as because I don't have any other new points. It would be working well so that we don't have so much of blockers, like 3 people or 2 people being blocked and not having stuff to do. So I think the different strategies, like working on them to prevent that from happening, would be what could be improved for us. Yeah. I nominate Emma to go next.
Thank you very much, Shakira. Thank you everyone for coming. Presentation. So what went well? I think we were able to accomplish our major aim. We were able to complete important tasks, and then my check. Am I okay now? Are we rude? All right. So we were able to complete important tasks, and also I think we've made significant progress. We've been able to consume an API that will allow us to create dictionaries, and that was initially a major blocker. So right now, what didn't go well? Um, okay, just as Shakira said earlier, we had some tax were depending on other tax, and we had to some people had to wait for someone else to finish their tax and stuff. But I think we've also devised the solution for that. We've created fixtures so that anyone can easily spot some bugs here and there and just create a ticket and fix those bugs. So what can be improved? Um, better team planning. I feel we can. The next team lead should plan from beginning to end. We should foresee some of all these things and just plan plan against them. And then I think that's all for me. So over to you, Christopher.
Okay, thank you very much. All your feedback has been noted. Thank you very much, yeah, for the feedback, for the for spotting out all of these nitty gritty things. Yeah, I hope we can work together and then come up with more solutions to more problems, and work together as a team. Daniel, do you have any word for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that thanks for being able to evaluate yourselves and lay the groundwork on how to improve that. And thanks also for the work you've been doing, because definitely you've put up something that is visible and tangible. So I would commend you for the good job. But I have not got any comments in regards to how I should improve, because I don't think I'm perfect. So I would expect that to be part of the retro.
It looks like Khadija wants to say something.
I knew she had to.
Okay, about the TTL, it has been good. Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Honestly, like you've made me personally have this sense, increase on my sense of attention to details, not just raising a PR. And so I remember there's a night I was teased on the status of the Jira. It's Waweru who told me like what I think Waweru understands Daniel. He uses some words that I don't understand, but it's good that you're training us to be more professional and attend to details. Yeah, maybe what I could request is sometimes we can have PRs that we need to be merged and we don't know what we are doing wrong. So I don't know whether that's how you can help us to know, like if all of us are short of knowledge and we think it's perfect that our PRI is ready to be merged. And so maybe if you could help us to tell us that no, this is still wrong with it.
Yeah, when you reach out to me and say a PR has been reviewed, you essentially do not mean that it's actually ready for merging. You essentially means that it's your turn to review. We've done all our work. That's why you've seen that some of them have not been merging them immediately. Some of them have been throwing them back to you with comments and etc. So you having reviewed among yourselves and throw them back to me doesn't mean necessarily that they are 100% perfect for merging. So that's usually up to me to also have a last look. And when I see all well, then I merge.
Oh, okay. That is, thank you.
For me, I do think feedback sessions are quite awesome. So if we could be having something like a bi-weekly feedback session, you just compose that this and this team member, you have been doing this, you've not been doing this, you can improve on this. I think it will go a long way to assist most of us get rid of the small errors that we do thinking that we're doing the right thing. To be of assistance. Oh, and I'd also appreciate the camera thing. Like, if people see your face once in a while, even if it's once in a month.
Plus 1 million.
Okay, let me think about it, then I'll get back to you. But I don't know why it's not the ladies that actually ask for that. Even on the other teams, it wasn't any of the ladies. Possibly that's why I say no.
No, I also ask for it.
I'm asking also.
Okay. Now that the ladies are talking, I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to more comments. You've only said good things about me, but I honestly would love to also get some negatives because let me be frank with you. Sometimes I shouldn't have said this, but let me say it. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm getting too hard on these people. Like, you remember one of those emails when I was, so sometimes sometimes I need to do some bit of balancing. Sometimes I feel like I'm being a bit too hard on you because I try to balance. I think we also discussed this in the meetings. We usually have Wednesday meetings with you. I don't know, you call them TTLs? That were Canadian. Yes, and where none of you is among that. So some of the things which they was saying was to raise to them issues that I find with you, and I objected to that. I was like, I do not usually believe in reporting people. I don't want to use it, but what I believe in is when I find weaknesses or whatever, I prefer to actually address them locally and only take them up if it hasn't worked out. So because I believe people make mistakes, it's part of life, But if any mistake somebody makes, then you just put it as feedback. I think that's not a good way of working. Secondly, I also pointed it out to them that I'm challenged because I do not want to micromanage these guys because I know developers, once they're micromanaged, then you won't expect them to be productive as, they need to be given some space. So I'm not the type of person who wants to always be looking. So what is so-and-so working on, that's why you see that I laid back even on IRSC. Sometimes some of you miss on IRSC. You do not, just know that I'm aware of that. But I'm like, but I don't want to be too hard on these guys that every day somebody meets us on IRC and then I get back to them and email you, how come, why? I want to give them, devs some freedom. Sometimes somebody may miss. It could even be a personal stuff. So I want to balance between trying to make people feel, I want to make you work not because somebody is having a stick and chasing you around, but I want you to just love the freedom you're given and take advantage of that. So I try to make that balancing, not to ensure that I get work done, but at the same time I want to micromanage. Like I didn't enjoy that stuff when I sent you that email. I was like, how come some guys are not working on any tickets? I don't enjoy doing that. So I would prefer you guys to make sure that I don't have to go into that, because when I reach those levels, I do not feel comfortable. Devs are devs, so they need their space. A dev may not have may decide not to work for a full day for something very personal. Not the type who's like, you should explain each and every day you don't work. No. It's only when you do it more than necessary, you go overboard. But I'm the type who just ignore and say, this guy didn't appear yesterday, but it's okay. It's just one day anyway. So because I believe when people work and they feel like you're giving them the freedom they need, I think they will be more motivated to actually do whatever they take to please you. And also the fact that I do not get given tasks to do. If you are not aware of that, I just wake up every day and say, okay, what will I do today? So nobody tells me that, Daniel, you're going to do this today, this and that. But out of time, I grew into that corporate professionalism whereby I actually make it a point that you work. Nobody looks on your back to discover how many hours you've worked, because I even work from home. So technically, nobody will know how many hours I've worked. But somehow there's that thing that grows in you, and to a point that even your bosses realize that guy doesn't need to be watched. That guy will always deliver. He will always work faithfully, So that's the kind of professionalism that I would want you guys to, develop, because it's very important as part of your career. Yes, I don't know, I've said so many words, but hopefully you've learned something out of that. But I want to hear some negative aspects. Of course, I don't want to force them out of you, but I want you not to fear challenging me, not to fear suggesting ways I should improve. I welcome them because those are the things that actually make me grow. If you only talk good things about me, that doesn't make me grow.
I think on my side, okay, I don't find it negative. It's not negative. It's just there. It's kind of neutral. Is the way you tend to be so philosophical.
I think Waweru has my password for that.
I think for this round, Emma can testify.
Yes.
Sometimes I just want to bring in some bit of fun. Maybe I don't do it in a nice way, but I want to put you at a level whereby you feel like you can crack jokes with me very comfortably. I do not want to work with people who take me like somebody above them, somebody like, So sometimes I use that just to make you feel more comfortable with me, make me feel, make you feel like this is a bad day, we're at the same level, So maybe I go overboard, but yeah. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Mic check.
Check.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say, Shakira, do you have something to say? So it's tell me.
Yes, I have something to say, but it's not negative.
No, that I'm interested in the negative, actually.
You're interested in the negative?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, like most of the team, this works well for them, but your availability is mostly in the night, and some of us are never awake.
Yes.
Yeah, like some
Yes.
of us go to bed early. We are like the chicken.
Yes.
Go to
8:30.
the moment it gets dark, 9 to sleep, get up 5. That is the time, and then it's sort of like kind of contradicting. It's not negative because it's like different patterns, but is there a possibility to like alter-ish?
Sure, definitely. Now, those are the comments that I expected to come from you, and I gladly take that up. One thing I want to emphasize is that if you send me something and I do not respond in your expected time, please go ahead and ping me. Do not get tired of pinging me. For instance, if you send me an email like pull request to be merged, and you expected that to be worked on in maybe an hour or two, and you don't get a response from me, please go ahead and ping me. Even if you ping me 5 times a day, I would not feel offended. Actually, I would even love it that way, because sometimes I'm like, okay, let me put this on pause. I'll look at it, you know. So if you don't remind me, actually, sometimes it just slips through and I forget. So get the freedom to ping me for as many times. It won't be bugging. And when you do not see me responding in a timely manner, please go ahead and say so. Because actually I'm awake when you guys are awake. Today, I was actually awake. So today, I perfectly see that it took long for me to actually get stuff merged. But that shouldn't be every day. So if there's any day you feel like I'm not responding in time, please go ahead and do that. I will not feel offended at all. I mean it. I will not feel, because it's my joy to serve you in a way that you do not have any single complaint, you know. So that helps me to also grow. And not just, after all, I was selected to lead you guys because I'm closer to your time zone than anybody else. So if I start to actually work in the US time zone, but when based in Africa, then I think I'm missing the point. So that was spot on. Thank you very much. I promise to improve on that, and please get back to me as soon as you see me going back my promise.
Okay. Then I have another question. Okay.
Go ahead.
This is not negative feedback for you, but could you give us feedback? Like we were talking about our retros. So how did you find us, like this sprint? Yes, on the email you highlighted that there was a time when we weren't like working on different tasks and all, but generally, how have you found us this sprint?
Right. Okay. So I think generally you're still a little bit slower than I had expected. I mean, the general team, in terms of the general output is kind of a bit smaller than what I would have expected. But at times I try to convince myself that it's possibly because some of these things are new. There's some stuff to do in Python. This is OCL that is a beast on its own that not many people even in the community know about it, you know, and there's processes that you have to learn that you've never been in before. So I sort of try to answer myself that maybe it's because of these dynamics, and possibly as we get to more sprints, we shall kind of have a bit more output. So I try to judge you fairly on that. In terms of individual feedback, I think I'll need some more time to actually give individual feedback for each of you. But I want to, in a special way, to commend Waweru. He's done a very good job of helping others. So hopefully he's also aware of that. So maybe because he was here before you, I don't know. But at least I've seen that, and I wanted to say that publicly in anybody's hearing. So I hope you guys agree with me on that. Do you?
I agree 1001%.
Excellent. So now in terms of individual feedback, I think I need some bit of more time to give you a sort of balanced sort of feedback, because I do not want to give early feedback for one reason. Because I can give feedback based on somebody's once in a while mistake. That would not be appropriate feedback. But I would give feedback on a mistake that is repeated over and over. So if I gave feedback too fast, I most likely will comment on those areas where I failed. But the failures that are just one time, I do not think that is worth feedback, because that happens to all of us. We all make mistakes here and there, and that shouldn't be a basis for our feedback. Our feedback should be a basis of how we've fared on in totality. So I think that's key. I should give you that feedback. But I think for the rest of you, I would need to, to work a little bit more with you to give you the feedback that I would also feel that I've judged you fairly. But that's a very good point. Thank you very much. And it's actually my responsibility too. So you've not added more tasks than I'm required to. You've just reminded me of what I ought to do.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering that.
You're welcome.
My check. there's something I've been thinking of that could improve the communication between us, the devs, and the TTL, so that you are aware of what blockers we have rather than waiting for the end of 2 weeks and you're also hearing some things on the demo. So I don't know how your time is, but I was thinking of us having like in the 2 weeks we choose some day where we can sync with you and give sort of stand-ups of what we've done for the previous days, like since the sprint planning, and if there are any brokers, so that you're aware, besides this thing of emails just telling you the PRA is up and all that. I don't know whether, Daniel, you can have time for that.
Of course, I should have all the time that you need because I'm assigned to make sure you attended to efficiently. So when it comes to ad hoc calls, feel free to set up as many as you want. Even if it's more than that, maybe it's some blocker, you need, guidance, you need. So those ones, they are not limited. You can have as many as you want. Even if you just want to have 10 in a week, 3 in a day or 5, there's no requirement that you have to put it on the OpenMRS calendar. You just can wake up and then send an email. Hey, Daniel, can you be available in the next 1 hour? You know what I mean? So those, you can have as many as you feel appropriate, because at the end of the day, that's my responsibility, to attend to you, as to be available for you guys anytime you need me. So when you ask that, I don't know if you're available, that sort of is not bringing my role. My role is supposed to be there for as long as you need me. If I'm not there, then I should give a reason that convinces you. Otherwise, my unavailability means I'm also not doing my part. So do not feel like you have to beg me to be available. I'm actually paid to be available. So you know.
Oh, I have another thing, Daniel. So
I knew you had more.
yes, a promise is a date. So you promised to visit us in the Uganda office. Up to now, you've not come. So remember that.
Okay. Thanks for the reminder. Surely I'll do it.
Okay,
Though I'll not give you a
thank you.
date, but it'll be a surprise, but I'll do it.
It's okay. Thanks.
Good. Welcome.
I'm just concerned why Emma is very quiet. Emma, mic check.
You check. Like, seriously, if I have anything to say, of course I'll say something.
So I guess that is all, is it?
Oh, Chris, who is going to be the next sprint lead? Sorry.
I guess that is we shall discuss that when we get probably. Okay, so that's Shakira, obviously.
Okay.
Also, would you kindly share information on when we will theoretically have our kickoff sprint call? That is our sprint planning call.
Is that question for me or for Shakira?
I think both of you can collaborate to answer the question.
Because clearly Friday is, we cannot just set it unless I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to set it up that by Friday evening we have the call.
I think it is possible because since Darius is not around, then Daniel should step in as the product owner, just as the point we had done our first sprint planning. That was, you just create a board, we agree on the tasks that we are working on, and just start the sprint.
Okay, cool. So Shakira, what do you think about that?
I think having it tomorrow is fine. Yeah, it's okay. Let me do the necessary things to prepare for it.
And do not forget to put it on the OpenMRS calendar.
Yes. Okay.
Preferably, if I don't know how long do you have left before you get back home, but if you have any time, it would be better put it today so that the guys in the other zones, when they wake up, they made it already on. That's
Right.
in case you have some more time. Thanks.
Yes, I do have some time before heading home.
Excellent.
So sad I have to give up have to hand over power.
You want to be a
So you're the African dictators who don't want power, you know?
So by the way, I would like to say that I really loved this session. I really loved, like, it has been really full of feedback, and I'm very sure it has helped bring us closer to one another, not only just work as teammates, but bring us closer. And I don't know if you get what I mean. But
Of course, if it gets you closer to these two ladies, that's awesome.
Oh my god. So I guess that's all from me. I'm done.
Yeah, my name is also Dan. So yeah, thanks guys.
So
Cool. See ya tomorrow.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Okay.